going on, everybody? VT here, and I thought we'd do a quick and fittingly titled post-mortem of our most recent event, the King of the Dead. Kind of see how it grades out. Personally, I'll finish in between 300 and 500th in this one. That's going to net me a few useless epics and some tomes and chests and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting that I'll finish in that window because I actually spent pretty sparingly here. I took most of the weekend off in a futile attempt to sing bar karaoke and have sex with married women, so to treat the event that flippantly and still finish around 300th kind of speaks to the level of participation. Now, as for the event itself, it was your standard Portal event. You run map X to collect 140 OY, and then you open Portal Z and get all the rewards. The levels were designed well enough and had that same basic layout that we've seen about 100 times before by now. There were 4 capturable epics with multipliers on them, and then there were 2 that were available only for summon. Not a lot of innovation there either, but the systems worked well so far, so why do you mess with a good thing? Now, as far as cheating and glitching goes, JB actually seemed to have a decent handle on this one. There was some glitch early that let people run the portal non-stop, but that was caught and it was patched pretty quickly. A welcome turnaround from the previous events, although, as far as I'm aware, cheaters did remain largely unpunished. Now, the prizes in this one, they were actually moderately attainable. And as I said, I didn't give much of a damn at all, and I managed to finish with a score of about 1.5 million, good enough for all but the final 4 threshold rewards. I imagine if I truly put the pedal down and spent more than 10 or so energy packs, I might have reached the final 5 million threshold reward and got that mythic. It would have been hard, and I would have had to give up trying to bed bar skanks, but at least it seemed reachable. That said, the prizes in this event seemed sorta lackluster. The epics were forgettable as always, and the legendary was unspectacular. The mythic is another in a long line of heroes that I feel are modeled after roided out bodybuilders. High stats, but not much in the way of useful skills. I still have no idea why JB has drifted so far from the idea of giving heroes useful skills that can help, but it's always seemed like a failure of the design team to properly balance the skill set. I wonder if there's maybe a really nice view outside of JB's offices, and every time the designers try to think of a decent set of skills, they get distracted and just wander off into nature. It's a shame because, other than taking advantage of the game's OCD, gotta catch 'em all type players, the rewards really don't offer much incentive at all to spend on these events. Now lastly, you may have noticed that I left off the collection legendary. That's because it's so heavily intertwined with this event's worst feature, the continued use of bundles. For whatever reason, JB maintains glued to their decision to utilize bundles as both a good way to wring money from the players and a way to remind them that JB hates them and wants them to suffer. If there's a silver lining to the tornado-spewing cloud that is the bundle system, it's that at least JB has continually tried to offer better items to accompany the bundles. In this case, it was 500 portal glyphs, but that's like saying that losing weight is a positive side effect of getting cancer. Really, cancer's pretty horrible and should just go away forever. So how does this one grade out? Well, it was a simple, if unoriginal event that ran pretty smoothly with few glitches. The rewards were attainable, but still felt more like a chore than a reward by the end of the event. Realistically, it was a perfectly cromulent event. Like any old assembly line worker, it went to work, did its job, and went home without much of anything interesting happening. Still, I don't really like what events like these represent for the future of the game. There wasn't a ton of new thought put into it. It was just sort of a bowl of gruel warmed up and shoved in front of us to eat. Yeah, it'll keep you alive, but it doesn't offer any promise that things are going to get better. Just a stale reminder of events past. Still, overall, it did its job, so call it a C+. Well, that's about it for this week. Join me next time, but until then, you know the drill. Get outside.